This is how we win. We game plan, we use our fight IQ, and we beat motherfuckers up.
Coming into the fight, we had a clear game plan, know what I mean? Keep him long, cause be able to knock him out, keep him on the end of my punches.
We seen things in the Charles fight. We seen that Charles could take him down and manipulate him in the grappling, so we knew Paddy could as well.
I also said me grappling, once I get on top of him, he won't be able to get up, and we proved that.
Charles really tried hard to submit him, and we noticed that Mike had really good rear naked choke defence. Primarily, the job was to ground and pound him out.
Already there, you can see the size difference. Paddy's a lot taller.
Rogan mentioned it there, how much bigger. I looked at him and I felt it, know what I mean? I felt a lot bigger than him in there.
Straight away, good distance, nice stance, good low stance, chin down.
Within the first 30 seconds, I'd landed 3 calf kicks, and I knew that over the course of a 25-minute fight, they were going to make a big difference.
So we knew these calf kicks were going to come into play. The plan was to get on them early and compromise that leg.
We wanted Paddy to calf kick Mike a lot, and one of the reasons for that is because of how wide Mike's stance is. He gets low and does a lot of driving to come over the top with his punches by standing a little bit wider, and we wanted to interrupt that constantly, so we worked a lot of calf kicking.
Oliveira damaged that calf, and he also damaged his knee with those oblique kicks he was doing.
But then I made a mistake there. In the game plan, we said only kick when he's moving backwards. Sometimes I kick when I'm too close, and I did it there, and that's why Mike avoided it and got in on the takedown.
Chandler wrestled behind that leg kick there, and Matt returned him. Paddy just turned to his knees and stood up.
When we watch Mike's fights, there are occasions where he will try and take the back, but Paddy's back defence and escaping have led to him being on top of a lot of people in a lot of fights. It's an advantage to Paddy and a disadvantage to you if you're fighting him.
When I get tucked down, I don't worry. He never got into a dominant position on me. He just held me. He had to be honest, he didn't do nothing with the position. The worst thing about being in that position was getting dragged around on my elbow. I had the worst mat burn I've ever had in my entire life on my elbow off the canvas. It was disgusting. And there he hit me, that overhand right, the punch that he's hurt everyone else with. Oliveira, Gagey, Poirier, hit me right on the chin with it while I was off balance throwing a kick, and I just took it and stared into his eyes.
Chandler landed a nice clean right hand there and didn't faze Paddy at all. He called it on.
I think from that moment on was where I started to break him.
So round one up, that's obviously easily Paddy's round. Remember now we were saying okay, we know what he's got, let's go for him. He's starting to fade a little bit now.
So yeah, at the end of that round there, when I got told after it that 2 judges give him that round, I was in utter shock.
Doing a good job of controlling range with the jabs to the head and the jabs to the body.
Throughout camp, we were working on keeping his distance, keeping his range, keeping a nice jab out. Throughout the whole fight, he used his jab very, very well.
Again, Mike initiates grappling against Paddy. Just a nice mat return. This is what I'm talking about earlier. This is where he's going to jump Paddy's back and end up on the bottom for it.
Then he tries to jump on me back, and I knew I was going to get him off from there. It was just a domination.
What we're looking for now is Paddy to ground and pound Mike and put him in positions where he's going to expose his back to Paddy.
We spent a lot of time in that camp taking people down, getting to a mounted position and using them 12 to 6 elbows. This is the first fight Paddy's had with their new rules of the 12 to 6 elbows.
Been dying to throw these elbows as well, these 12 to 6s. It changes the whole game altogether. The fact that 12 to 6 is illegal now, it makes it much harder for the person on the bottom to defend, because elbows can come in from different angles that they couldn't before.
In these positions, we knew that Mike would try and base himself up, so we worked a lot on 12 to 6 elbow in the collarbones.
We weren't just throwing them to his head either, trying to hit him in different parts of his body, like his shoulder. People just think, oh, I'd elbow him in the face, but you want to elbow him in different positions as well. Like in the third round, I go to elbow him and the ref says, watch the back of the head, but I was aiming for his shoulder.
12-6s were a game changer. When you're on someone's back, you can't really create much damage except with punches around the sides of the face, but the 12-6s allow you to really get some strikes going that are uncomfortable for the person whose back that you've got.
You see his corner team telling him to do things, and he says he's so far away.
Follow up, do the step over. We've been training that. You're staying so far away.
That shows how good we worked them out. The fact that I was keeping him away, it was also frustrating him, as well as obviously making me not get hit.
More than one. Oh! Big knee from the back.
Yeah, the knee caught him as he was coming in, like we said we were going to, and had him right on the end of that knee, split his face open bad.
Rushes forward, he dips his head down, swinging, overhands. We knew that he was going to rush forward, we knew he was going to bring his head down. That's why we worked so long on trying to set up that right knee.
Mike comes in, head low, Paddy's taller. Took that one right on the chin, and then Paddy chased after him.
That's where I am best, when I'm chasing people down, trying to finish them and hunting you down, throwing kicks, big punches.
This is when Paddy's most dangerous. If Paddy feels that you're hurt or you're not in a great position, he's got that switch to go and that killing instinct.
A wounded animal's the most dangerous, you know what I mean? So when I'd hurt him, obviously I know he's going to try and take me head off with punches, so it was the plan then, take him down then.
That single leg with Paddy being a taller opponent, opponent, the Scouse single. I think he's hit it in a couple of his fights now, where he gets a single leg and he's just scooping them off the feet and putting them on the back, and when he gets on top here, it's very, very difficult to get back to your feet from there.
When it comes to the mat as well, like Charles Oliveira's an unbelievable submission artist and he couldn't submit him over 5 rounds, so the plan was to get as much damage in on the floor as we possibly could, try and TKO him, but if not TKO him, make him give up to give us the choke.
Our main thing in this was to cause damage and try and get him out of there. He flattened them out, forced Michael to give up a mount where he started that onslaught of them elbows.
The thing about stopping people in MMA, and we talk about this in the gym every day, is the more horrible and violent it looks, the more likely the ref's going to step in. You can see where Paddy starts getting this now. It looks horrible, but that 12-6 elbows, like no one wants to see anyone take a few of them.
Them 12-6s just changed the whole game up. They can't just lie there like that, because them 12-6s will split the guard and come right through the middle.
Most people don't look at 12-6s kind of like it's a big deal, but we knew from Paddy when he got to that position, he was going to finish for 12-6s. We worked it really, really hard a lot into that fight.
Unrelenting at the end. I just didn't stop punching and elbowing, and I wanted to get him out of there, obviously.
Everything about Paddy is different. When you get in there, you can stand outside the ring or the cage and say, I'll do this, he does this wrong. I'll do that, he does this wrong. But once you're in there with him, it's a whole different ball game when he's in front of you, and he can hit a lot harder than he looks as well.
There's no feeling like it when you win, I always say it, no feeling like winning. And I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do the BJ pen when my opponent's being covered in blood and lick the blood off my hands. I've just always wanted to do that.
The funniest thing about after that fight was me having an adrenaline dump and run to the toilet being sick, and Ellis being sick right next to me. We both had such like high emotions and adrenaline dump. It was kind of like a surreal moment. That was backstage afterwards.
Yeah, obviously you want to go over and celebrate with the people who've helped you get there and helped you do all that.
It's just all happiness and joy, you know, like we've trained Paddy for years, we're all like family in here, so like seeing him achieve something that we knew he was capable of, and we've just been waiting for years for it to happen, was unbelievable.
We knew he was going to get the finish like that, but to us, I think he made it look far easier than it was. All the positions we worked throughout camp come up in the fight, and the fight went exactly how we thought it was going to go.
We've been doing fight run-throughs for years now. Basically, what fight run-throughs are, a representation of how we want the fight to go.
We try and get someone a similar style or build to play out the opponent and bring in the specific techniques or the patterns that the opponent does.
You need the fight run-throughs. When I spar, obviously the people aren't always going to try and beat Michael Chandler. They're going to try and spar to make themselves better as well. But in a fight run-through, the partner I have, most of the time it was Ellis, he would just do a carbon copy of Michael Chandler as close to him as he could.
And all I'm doing in there is I'm trying to show the same sort of movements that Chandler does, trying to bring that same intensity that Chandler does. He's getting the feel of me doing them movements, throwing them shots, doing the same sort of patterns in the movements, and that's why that knee come off so good, because we've been doing it so much.
People do like fight gone wrong. You have like guys coming in beasting you fresh every minute and all that sort of stuff, but that doesn't teach you some of the skills that you need to win fights. When you spar, you say to someone, oh, I want you to play Michael Chandler, and then when they spar, they do things different to Michael Chandler because they're under pressure. When you do a fight run through, it's different. We can give them specific things that Mike does, knowing that they're going to be able to use them a bit more relaxed because it's not as intense as a spar.
If you look back on the footage, all the stuff that we was doing actually replicated them.
Loads of ground and pound on there, stuff that I actually used, like the elbows, the positional stuff that we used, mat returns. That was something that happened a lot because I'd shoot it on L's legs and he'd pull me up. Obviously the kicks, keeping him on the end of the jab, literally everything.
When we went to Goat Shed the last week, we were actually doing fight run-throughs in there, and the coach from there, he thought we were sparring. He thought it was an actual live spar, because that's how intense they are. They're like a spar.
So we started doing fight run-throughs about 5 years ago, really. They've been a massive, massive part ever since.
And as I say, that's how we game plan so well. We know what we're doing, we know what we're up against them. Them fight run-throughs in this fight camp were just picture perfect. We do fight run-throughs for every fight, but no fighters went that perfect to the fight run-throughs what we've done.